Hey there, I'm generic Balatro YouTuber, and today I'm going to be wasting an hour and a half of your time with one of the most disgustingly made tier lists you've ever been forced to lay eyes on. Get excited for some of the most lukewarm takes of all time as I put Blueprint in S tier. In all seriousness though, tier lists are some of my favorite things to make, not just for video games but for anything you can think of. Candy tier list? Done. French fry shape tier list? Easy. Invadability of sub-Saharan African countries? Dude, you probably shouldn't. Piece of cake. If you look up Balatro tier list on YouTube, your feed will be flooded with some of the best players in the world telling you exactly why to-do list is actually goated. Although these tier lists may vary wildly in many ways, they all have one thing in common. Everybody hates 8-ball. And I mean rightfully so. This thing is terrible. Like, first of all, I'm not playing 8s, but even if I build my entire strategy around playing 8s, this joker only gives me a 1 in 4 chance of getting some trash tarot card for every 8 I play? Oh, awesome, I played 5 8s and got a single stars card? Really interactive. Pair the indisputably trash 8-ball with my seemingly unending thirst for pain, and you've got yourself a beautiful challenge video. A quick clarification before the run, I ended up modding a new challenge deck for this video, but because challenge decks are all on white stake, I had to manually add in all the gold stake modifiers. It might look like white stake, but I promise that 400,000 boss blind isn't. For the challenge, I've given myself 5 eternal 8-balls, meaning that the only real way I'd be able to add any additional jokers to my roster is if they are negative, which is a 0.3% chance, so the likelihood that I'd get anything actually useful was basically 0. That means all of my Molt, Econ, chips, everything has to come from my deck. I'm essentially just playing jokerless on gold stake. Cool. The run actually started pretty well. A full house containing a pair of 8s took out the small blind and also gave me a copy of the Emperor and a star card. The star was immediately sacrificed to give me just enough money to buy the Mega Arcana pack. Before that, I popped the Emperor, giving me death and yet another star, which I immediately sold. My Mega Arcana pack let me use Death to turn a King into an 8, and then Fool let me turn another King into an 8, and then Strength upgraded to 7s, giving me plus 4 8s from a single pack. Not too shabby. For those of you who haven't beat Jokerless, one of the best strategies is to play 4 of a kind. Not only is 4 of a kind just naturally good, it also gains plus 3 Molt and plus 30 chips anytime you upgrade it with Mars. The only other hands that scale that fast are straights and straight flushes, which, I mean, first of all, but secondly, none of the tarot cards really help you in setting up straights. 4 of a kind, on the other hand, can have their playability boosted by a ton of tarot cards, making them the clear option for normal jokerless and also for this challenge video. Another full house with a few 8s in the big blind gave me the Devil, which I used on an unexpected ace, and Hierophant, which I used on my 7 and 8. My strategy with these low anti-blinds was to prioritize playing 8s over having hands left over for money, as if I was able to get even just 1 tarot card, even if I don't use it, I can sell it for $1, which is just as much as I would have gotten if I had not played the hand. The benefits of this approach were put on full display as my pretty trash high card hand created 2 tarots, both of which I could sell, giving me $2 instead of just 1. Just the kinda high level play you can expect from this channel. Another 8 gave me Strength and an Emperor, which I used to turn a few Queens into a King, and an Ace into my 9th 8 thanks to a lucky death pull. With $12 thanks to the Golden Ace, I was able to afford the Crystal Ball, which is easily the best voucher for this challenge. Plus 1 consumable slots means that, if I'm lucky, just a single 8 would give me 3 tarot cards rather than just 2, giving me an even higher chance of pulling something useful. Into the boss blind, the Head, where I played a flush, and then my first 4 of a kind to finish him. To beat him. Oh, no, not that. To obtain the required score. Phew, close one. Before charging into Ante 2, I bought an Arcana pack to double my money with the Hermit, and then bought a Chariot with the intent of turning one of my 8s steel. This will become apparent as we get deeper into the run, but steel cards are essential to even getting close to beating this challenge. In the small blind, I used the Chariot and played a full house rather than a raw 4 of a kind, as 3 8s with 5 8-balls was more than enough to create 3 tarot cards. The tarot cards in question were the Wheel, which turned an 8-ball hollow, Temperance, which gave me 10 bucks, and then the Magician, which I used on one of my 8s. One more pair of 8s gave me another Temperance, and then Death, which is by far the best card for this challenge. With it, I can not only increase the number of 8s in my deck, but it has the added bonus of allowing me to copy whatever effect is on that 8, specifically the Steal modifier. With time, I'd hopefully be able to fill my hand with enough Steal 8s to put up the Spaghetti-O numbers in antes 7 and 8. In the shop, I popped a Celestial pack, which gave me the first Mars of many, and then had to sadly pass up on DNA, which would have been nuts for this run. Too bad every single Joker slot I have is just filled with garbage. The big blind was much of the same, with me turning a 2 into a Steal 8 and playing as many 8s as I could get my hands on. With so many Econ Tarots, I was up to 60 bucks, with really not much to spend it on. Rerolling the shop felt like such a waste, as I'd be seeing a bunch of Jokers I just wasn't allowed to take, and I wasn't really hurting for Tarots. I ended up just buying a Mega Celestial pack to upgrade 4 of a kind again, and then headed into the boss blind. The Club, which, by the way, what a lazy name for a boss, wasn't too tough, especially with Strength turning a 7 into an 8, and a recently purchased Magician turning a few of those 8s lucky. With Ante 2 behind me, things were going to start ramping up fast. I desperately needed a consistent way to scale my deck and was not disappointed, as Telescope was my Ante 3 voucher. With it, I could guarantee that every single Celestial pack would have a Mars card, which would hopefully be enough to keep pace with the ever-increasing score requirement. Well, okay, I guess it would be a Mars card once I played 4 of a kind a few more times. One useless standard pack and a Mars from the High Priestess, and I was headed into the small blind. Strength added yet another 8 to the count, and then a clean 4 of a kind put up over 5,000 points. It also created another Chariot and a Hermit, bringing my net worth to $65. Just kidding, 66. 2 Celestial packs in the shop took 4 of a kind from level 4 to level 6, and then in the big blind I cashed in on Chariot, turning yet another 8 Steal. Which, I guess it didn't even really matter because I ended up playing it. Whatever, it'll come in handy later. Yet another Hermit took me into the next tax bracket, and then a Temperance from an Arcana pack made me rich enough that now I don't even need to pay taxes. One more Mars and then $35 worth of rerolls later, and I was face to face with the Manacle. A smaller hand size forced me to burn a turn while waiting for more 8s to show up, but a beautiful double trigger on my lucky 8 made it all worth it. With only one Steal 8 in hand, I was putting up 28,000 chips worth of damage. Granted, I had plus 20 molt from the lucky card, but I mean, hey, still pretty good for having a Joker roster full of balls. An Arcana pack let me dupe my Death card after using it to copy a molt 8, and man, I'm getting owned in these standard packs. Surely this clip is getting included though, because it's actually foreshadowing for when I pull an insane card from a standard pack later, right? Right? Ante 4 is when I really started to sweat. Death let me play 4 of a kind, but I barely eked past the score requirement, with my hollow 8-ball being the thing to tip me over the edge. In the shop, I bought a Hermit, an Arcana pack where I used Death to copy another Steal 8, turned in Ace Gold, and got another $12 from Temperance. I also upgraded 4 of a kind to level 8 thanks to a Celestial pack, and then pulled absolutely nothing from the High Priestess. With my deck now comfortably holding plenty of 8s, I decided that it was probably time to start cutting some fat. The Hanged Man is Balatro's equivalent to Ozempic, and with it and a Fool from a Mega Arcana pack, I took my deck size down to 48. Oh man, maybe this is that really good standard pack. Oh, okay, nope, that's fine. The Goad marked the halfway point of the run, and an unlucky few draws left me with no Steal cards. My first 4 of a kind gave me a Hermit, a Fool, and a Devil, which I just absolutely cooked the usage order of. Hermit, Fool, and then Devil, stupid. Man, this guy sucks. You know what? Everyone go and get ChatGPT to write a genuinely horrible message in the comments to make sure this dummy never makes that mistake again. A few bad hands later, and a very lucky quad 8 draw kept the run afloat on the final hand. A Mars from a Celestial pack was my only purchase before Ante 5, where another set of unlucky draws forced me to play some more garbage before I could get my 8s rolling. Even when I did end up dropping a 4 of a kind, it wasn't even enough to take out the blind. I really needed to make drawing 4 of a kind more consistent, so seeing the Hanged Man in my Arcana pack was a relief. The Chariot and a Death from the Emperor let me increase my Steel 8 count by 2, and with only 46 cards in my deck, I was hopeful that things would start turning around. Another Mars brought 4 of a kind to level 10, and then, ooh, a negative Joker, let's go. I mean, sure, it's kind of useless because it only gives me $2, but you know what, I'll take what I can get. Having a non-eternal Joker would also be super helpful on the off chance my anti-8 blind was the Verdant Leaf, as I would be literally incapable of selling any of these stupid 8-balls. Cloud9 joined the team, and then a lucky reroll gave me a Mars and a Fool, bringing 4 of a kind all the way up to level 12. With 40 base Molt and 390 base chips, I realized that my non-Steel 8s weren't really doing too much with their bonus and Molt modifiers. As such, I ended up using a Chariot to turn an 8 from a Molt card to a Steel card, and then a lucky Tarot pull gave me yet another opportunity to create a Steel card. In the shop, I bought a jumbo, Red Seal 8, holy. With Steel cards being all the rage, a red stamp would not only trigger the 1.5x Molt twice, it would also double my chances of getting a Tarot card from my 8 balls. The Needle was the anti-5 boss, and it definitely deserved that boss title. That thing was scary, as if I got even a little unlucky and didn't draw 4 8s, the run would just be over in an instant. Thankfully, luck was on my side with 5 8s in hand after a few discards. I was still a little worried as that would only leave 1 Steel card after playing a 4 of a kind, so I kind of panicked and used the Chariot on a lowly 4. Definitely did not need to do that after putting up 45,000 points, but I mean, hey, better safe than sorry. Okay, man, dude, you gotta stop opening these standard packs. You already cashed out on the Foreshadow. You're just gonna keep getting garbage. You know what, whatever. He seems happy. I'll let him do what he wants. The anti-6 voucher was overstock, which would hopefully show me more Mars cards. A few rerolls later, and I immediately cashed out, with 4 of a kind up to level 13, heading into anti-6. Man, I really wish I hadn't used that Chariot on the stupid 4. It would have been a fantastic way to make my Red Seal 8 Steel, and then I would have been able to use Death to dupe it, and whatever. You know, a normal Steel 8 is fine, and a double trigger on a Molt card is still pretty good. With 3 Steel cards in hand, I'm throwing up over 100,000 points. Still not quite enough to take out the beast that will be the anti-8 boss, but I'm getting closer. Okay, the standard packs were funny for a little bit, but you know what, now you actually just have to chill. You've wasted like $20 on absolutely nothing. I mean, I know this game is about gambling, but
I mean, come on. At some point, you've just got to realize that everything you're doing is just trivial and nothing actually has any meaning, because we're all just gonna eventually die, and every action you take is just wasting the finite amount of time you have left, and everyone and everything you've ever known will cease to exist, and God is dead, and I killed him.
Oh nice, a Chariot, so now I can make that red stamped 8 Steel. I unfortunately wasn't able to pimp up my fancy 8 in the big blind, but I was able to get a Fool, which, after pulling a Death from an Arcana pack, would allow me to create not just 1 red stamped Steel 8, but 2. Pretty swag, right? People still say that, yeah? Swag? Yeah, I'm still in touch with the youth? Surely. The Pillar was the final blind of anti-6, and man, he was scary. Because I had been basically only playing 8s for the previous 2 blinds, nearly all of them were disabled. After a few discards, however, I was able to draw my Red Seal 8. A kind of weird game mechanic is that if you ever modify a disabled card in the Pillar, it is treated as a completely new card and will no longer be disabled. This is great news, as after using the Chariot on my Red Seal 8, it removed its disability, allowing me to use Death on it, giving me 4 Steel triggers with just 2 cards. Still not quite enough to take out the boss on turn 1, but I mean still pretty spicy. After a garbage hand, I used yet another recently created Chariot to turn one of my lucky 8s into a Steel 8. Dude, another Chariot? I mean, thank goodness no one can check my game files to prove that I'm not cheating. Otherwise, whew, things might get messy. Clearance sale was my anti-7 voucher, allowing me to buy a few discounted Arcana packs, from which I pulled, well, nothing, and then Hanged Man, bringing my deck even closer to perfection. I closed the shop out with a few more rerolls and then a few more Hermits before heading into the penultimate ante of the run. With so many 8s in my deck, drawing 4 of them was becoming pretty trivial. The issue now was not just drawing 4 8s, but rather drawing enough additional steel 8s that I could put up the huge 100,000 plus score requirements that the rest of the run would require. I took the small blind out on turn 1, and for my speed I was rewarded with a death card and a spectral pack. It doesn't matter that the spectral pack was garbage, it's the thought that counts. 4 of a kind got another upgrade courtesy of a celestial pack, and then a reroll showed me yet another chariot. A few rerolls later, and the Emperor rounded out my stacked consumable pile. I copied a red seal 8 with death, converted a bonus 8 to steel, and then sold all the garbage that the Emperor gave me. Very cool. What the... Okay, no. I swear, I am actually not cheating. I have no idea why I got so many chariots. You know, at this point, I don't even really want them anymore, okay? I promise. Well, that beautiful trio of tarot cards would be put to good use right after buying a celestial pack from the shop to grab a Mars card and then lamenting over blueprint. Oh, the agony. The plant's debuff on my face cards was fine by me, as after using all of my consumables, I was able to put up 440,000 points with a beautiful all-steel hand. Omen Globe was my final voucher, and with it came the hope for more red seals. With no Arcana packs in the shop, however, I would have to wait for its utility. One more good slap in the face from a standard pack and another from the High Priestess, and I was on my way. 3 blinds to go. Ah, what? Both of them have the negative tag? Shoot. I would have loved to take one of them, but knowing my luck, I'd probably end up with something like Half Joker or Baron. Instead, I headed into the small blind and crossed my fingers. My luck wasn't too bad, as I was able to play 2 sets of 8s and add the foil modifier to one of my many 8-balls. Oh, awesome! More standard packs. Super happy that I'm going to be able to get a bunch of use out of Omen Globe. Oh, and yeah, no, please, give me more garbage. I love garbage. The big blind was unfortunately not quite as forgiving, as even though I was able to draw the 8s I needed to play my 4 of a kind, I didn't have nearly enough in my hand to take the blind down on turn 1. Rather, it was my very final hand that barely got me through. Only scoring 350,000 points was not a good sign. The anti-8 boss would require a massive 400,000. If I were to get even slightly unlucky, the run would die. But really, when you think about it, maybe that's why everyone dislikes the 8-ball so much. Maybe the real issue isn't that the Joker is bad, it's just that you need to get a little lucky. Thanks for watching. Oh, and also, I don't normally do this, but if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. My analytics will thank you.